Do you think millennials are jealous of Gen Z?
Jealous is a strong word though, but then Mandy, what do you think?
I feel like a lot of things that we are able to do very easily, you guys had to work a lot harder to achieve.
The reason why I'm doing this is because I want my family. There's a statement that I read on Instagram. If you're not from a rich family, be the reason why your family is rich. I did not travel much. Cool. My kids would travel more than I did when I was a kid.
Tell me about it. I love this. I love this energy.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. This guy. Do you think Gen Zs value their mental health more than other generations?
Yes.
Good. Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, because we live in a time where we talk about it.
Exactly.
I think
I just feel like this Gen Z is like you just like soft life.
Yeah, it's not.
Like sorry, like that's my thing though. The job is stressing the Gen Z.
Health.
Like bro, like they're just gonna like buy HR.
But hey, you're talking to someone who almost committed suicide, my boy. Like I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yep. Ooh. Don't see them now.
We're gonna get to that.
So our Gen Z is really misunderstood, right? One of my people was good. We are back with a live shooting from the city of Berlin. There I say the best city in the world. Wagwan.
I agree to disagree. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. And today we have
Vicky.
and Jessica.
Yeah, of course, as usual.
Okay, so today we have two new faces, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what we're talking about, it seems like you're going to be in the middle.
Yeah.
But why are you wearing black? I'm wearing black. You're wearing black.
Yes.
As what? Are we mates?
There are many blacks here today.
She's allowed to wear black. You're not allowed to.
Okay, agreed.
Good.
I agree.
I wish you can agree like this all day.
You're not in trouble after.
Alright, so Divinefavour you? I'm pretty young.
You're young, not pretty.
I wanna be.
Okay, alright. So, 19. So I'll be 20. So I'm a music producer, fashion model, influencer, content creator.
Only you.
19. This generation is busting my brain. At 19.
Except for that, I study as an IT specialist, cybersecurity, and I work in the company.
Oh wow! At 19.
Bro.
I like
You're
that.
making me.
Bro, in this life you have to make money, Sha.
Yeah.
Tell them. Oh.
Of course, that's what we're trying.
That's
That's what we're trying to do. Yeah, okay, Mandy. Tell us a bit about yourself. No pressure.
Well, I'm a student, so I'm studying and working at the same time. I'm studying business administration. Apart from that, I'm a poet, I'm a friend,
Nice.
I'm a sister, I'm a daughter.
That's a lot of things. You're a poet. Do you know the creativity behind that?
Yeah.
So let's give it up for Mandy.
Yeah, definitely. That's-
Okay, what are we talking about today?
yeah. Gen Zs. Yeah, interesting people, interesting
Is that
generation.
the topic? Gen Z is.
So our Gen Z is really misunderstood, right?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Divine, can you answer yes or no?
Hard to answer, but I will say I think so too.
Okay.
But to a certain extent. They are misunderstood.
Okay.
I think I'd change my standpoint. I don't think Gen Zs are misunderstood. I think Gen Zs are misjudged. Yeah.
Okay, deep. All right. So I like to go with like an intro usually, right? So I try to like read something out. So we know Gen Zs are born between 96 to 2010, or some say 97 to 2012. At this point, I don't know. So, but anywho, by 2040, right, the research says that they're going to account for more than 40% of the workforce, right? Which is quite huge. What that means is, I think everyone kind of needs to understand this generation, right? And whether that's like how you're interacting with them in the workplace or like, as friends, as colleagues, whatnot, no? There's also like a study that was done by Global Shaper Survey, right? It's called. And 74% of the respondents agreed that Gen Z, they now define like their own culture rather than letting traditional institutions do it for them. So you guys are kind of like breaking some of like the norms, right? And I think some of us would call you like the rebellious generation.
I mean, a lot of crazy things happens in that generation. So, I mean, we get your point. We get your point because even me myself, when I just open my phone and I see some of the most ridiculous things happen.
Tell me about it.
I mean, there's some there we can talk about another time, but, but let's talk about generally mentality, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to, it's not really into the topic, but let me just say this, for example, men, the men of this Gen Z generation.
Can we call them men?
That's the point.
Boys!
That's
Thank you.
That's the point. That's the point what I'm trying to say.
You know you're talking about yourself though.
No, I'm not, because I know my standards.
You're not Gen Z.
Well, you're Gen
talking
Z.
about generalizing. You're not saying some.
Yeah, but I'm saying like most of the men of this generation.
Okay, better.
I'm gonna say that. What I like about the generations before, let me just say that.
The millennials,
Exactly. They knew their standpoint. They knew what they would have to do. They know what they had to do, you know? But now we are in a generation where basically nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what they have to do. And they don't know why they act the way they act. But I guess there are also reasons.
For sure.
There had to be reasons why it is like that, because I don't think it just happened like that, you know. So
yeah,
you wanna add something there?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, one has to consider that we live in a generation that has like a flood of opportunities, and there's like you can do anything you want, and generations beforehand were like a lot more limited.
Right.
So a lot of things were basically just written out beforehand, that you're going to go to school, you're going to go to university, you're going to be a doctor, and that's it.
Right.
And nowadays, like, our generation doesn't even have to go to school. So it's a whole thing of what do you do now, because it's like
too many opportunities.
There are too many. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is good to be, which is why I think it's good to have, which is why I said to an extent, right, to the beginning. Because even though there are many opportunities, there should be a way that you should follow, right?
Yeah, like
there
a
should be a structure that you should have, right? So for me, it's like study, but at the same time, I do all of the side hustles.
Yeah.
Why? Because even though I do my 9 to 5, even though I do my standard work, I am still open, and my eyes are still open to other opportunities I can take in.
Yeah.
Now imagine you're a person who is a singer but does have no degree, and you want to marry. Get your ass home.
You think so?
You mean you want to marry in one aspect as the guy?
Yeah, like a guy, because nobody's gonna take you serious. Because here's the reason.
Don't say that. You know.
Here's the reason.
Nobody would say.
Here's the reason, though. Here's the reason why I say that.
Yeah.
Here's the reason why I say that. Maybe that's because I was wrong.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it from my point. If you're in this, I mean, we are almost living the way, but here as a man in this generation, you should have a structure. You need to know where you want to go. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because if you don't have a structure, the generation or the society generally can just swift you around. And you can just say, I want to do this, and then I have to do this. And which is why I like the millennials, because they have a straight path, so straightforward that they cannot be moved too easily.
But is it really good though? Like this structure. So was this a good thing?
Yeah, I want to say something before I forget.
Yeah.
So, do you think why you think like this has to do with your upbringing? Because I'm Nigerian, you're Nigerian.
Right.
I think many Africans, our parents will always push us that, okay, you need a degree, you need school.
Right.
Yeah, because I know that there's some people here that woke up and they said, oh, I want to do music. And that's all they studied. That's what they did.
Exactly.
They chased their dream. So do you think you having that mentality is really more of your upbringing or where you're from? You're grounded because you're from a place that makes you grounded. That, okay, Divine, you can do music, you can do this. Because my brother does music.
Okay.
And I remember one day he said he wanted to be a sound engineer. He wanted to study that's being a producer. And my dad was like, hell no, I'm not paying for that.
Bro.
You can study and do what you want.
Right.
And me too, I'm an example because I went to uni first to be an engineer, and after 2-3 years I was doing and I literally left school because it wasn't what I liked, to study business. And right now I do so many things, like I do a lot of things, and those are the things I love. But then it was because of my upbringing. That's why I felt like I needed to obey or something. It's not because I don't have a structure. Because I feel like this generation is just about we're more bold and fearless to go for what we want. And we have situations where millennials too are going for what they want, or they saw what they wanted, but it just took so much time. Before they literally have, I feel like we are also even motivating some people, some millennials, like, okay, I can do this. I really don't have to stay in this shitty 9 to 5. It's not even about job. It's in all aspects of your life. We are in a generation, we are the generation that we feel somehow we're talking about being sad. We're talking about depression. We're talking about everything. And the thing is, all these things happened previously. it's not like the millennials were not depressed.
Yeah.
We're more outspoken.
I guess.
So they went through all this part
Right.
of their life, but I think they were like so. I don't know.
Yeah, they were more reserved.
What do you have to say? You're
Wow.
laughing. You're the millennial.
This is interesting. Gen Z. So you're the millennial. Yeah, I am the millennial. So that's true. So very Gen Z. Anywho, I mean, you guys are right? There is maybe something around what you're saying there, like, millennials, they went through certain things and maybe they're just not like the very outspoken generation. I even remember like one of the, very popular protests in Nigeria, right? And, where like this
The 2020
Sorosoke,
thing. Yeah,
right?
the Sorosoke thing.
Which is like speak out, right? In English translated. And this was powered, right, by a lot of like young people, right?
Yeah.
And this is like they're trying to pass a message like this generation doesn't keep quiet, right? I think there's something about that, but also there's something I want to point, touch on from what Divine was saying, right? Which is this lack of structure, right? That you were saying like the Gen Zs, right, do not kind of have, because I want to see, I want to explore, first of all, what are some of the cultural norms, right, that this generation was born into? So what are some of the events that have affected, right, this Generation Z, right?
Really bad.
I would say firstly, we were born into digitalization, so
thank you.
That is that on its own is a mega trend that can change an entire generation because it opens new opportunities, in terms of the job field, but it's also in terms of how people live, how people express themselves. You were talking about how we are more outspoken and we will talk more about things that millennials or generations before us didn't speak about, but that's because we have the platforms to talk about it. So we can go on social media and basically be and talk to one another because we have we're connected through social media.
You were born into this, stage,
so we were born into a time when it was possible to be outspoken because you have a platform to say something and then other people could be yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree, whereas they didn't. So I think that is the first thing that just affects our generation as a whole. I mean, we are digital natives, so it is it's a part of who we are and how.
And I think it's really because I'm trying to remember I think I had my first social media, which is Facebook, maybe in 2008. For example,
I don't even have Facebook. I don't know.
So you don't even have that.
What is Facebook?
Guys, now we're getting to it.
Yeah.
She's what is Facebook?
Today,
Wow.
Do you know that thing?
Today is Sunday. It's a shining sun.
But then also what changed this generation, but it's not just the Gen Z, but also the millennials.
Millennials.
Exactly. I don't know why I can say that. I don't know why I can say that. Is Corona.
It's not who
Let's
you
talk
are.
about it.
The COVID
situation.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that. Because you were saying something about the digital platform, which has a lot of positive impact. Let's talk about that. It is the platform where many people make money. There's the platform where many people open with networks. It's the big platform where we are able to see another country without even visiting there. So yes, of course, it has many great opportunities, but it can also have the power to break you. Because during that Corona time, the rates of depression rose up radically. And social media was one of the platform to
let out
in sense of you may feel insecure right now, but you may post a picture of you looking so great and people will comment about you saying, oh, you looking so great, oh, that dress is so amazing, and that will fill up somehow your confidence, which should be the 100. Case, but it's just so but not just even for that, it's also for y'all. I mean, for example, you are used to seeing your family so often, you will see your family presence, right? Now you're in another country, great. So the phones generally or social media gives you the platform to see your family, but it's not just as the same of you sitting with your family. Again, it has a lot of great impact. It can make you great, but it can
break you as well.
Yeah. One of the things I also read was like this generation also witnessed like this changes like in the shortest period of time, right? What does that mean? So there was COVID. There's like the war in Ukraine that broke out, right? In 2007-08, there was also like the Great Recession. You guys were also like born
we're probably babies. We had no idea. We no bills.
But you don't pay bills.
Exactly.
I was paying my bills at that time.
Can you give me something to eat?
That was a good time.
I was living my life. Not now. I gotta pay bills.
So, but the effect of that as well, right? So this also affected, so if you're born like in a recession, for example, right? So this also affect like a lot of things, right? In terms of like your outlook and like looking into the future, like for so. This generation has also witnessed, that's like where I'm trying to start from, right? Like they've witnessed like quite a number of like defining moments, right? Which I feel like may have contributed to this lack of structure you're talking about, right? For example, if you're talking about like the recession, like bro, like when you're coming, when you like growing out of that, right, you're then realizing like, bro, like all of these jobs that our parents had and all of these things, like if they were able to lose like half of all the things like in one night, then maybe this is not the path. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's where you start seeing like some of the effects of like this event, right? And then now you're thinking like, I don't have to go the path that my parents went, right? I don't have to go the path that like this millennials are going, right?
Exactly.
Because now you're seeing like the impact of like some of these things and trying to like define your own path.
Yeah, I have something to say.
Interesting, yeah.
And before then, I'm going to ask questions. So now I'm very curious about you because you have so many side hustles. I'm going to come to you, Mandy, too. And you said you're studying to be a IT cybersecurity.
Yes.
So with what Buki is saying, I agree that's why we don't have structure. I agree that there's a Gen Z and there's a millennial. And I also agree where there's something called being grounded. It's a personal thing. So you can decide that, as a Gen Z, I want to be structured, even if whatever is going on all over social media, the world, everything is happening. Like, you could blow up on TikTok and have millions, but then I want to have a degree. I want to. So, like for you, like, why are you doing this? Is it because you're trying to follow a structure the millennials followed, or you're grounded, you're self-disciplined, or this is how you want to, these are your own rules that you feel like would work for you?
I mean, one of the reasons why, everybody should know if you are doing many things, right? And you do a lot of things. And there are many people who are doing maybe one job, but then there are people who are doing a couple of jobs. Or even parents, they may have 1 9-to-5, which is great enough for them.
And have side hustles.
All side hustles, but then there are also other parents who have like 3 jobs. One of the things what you need to think is, what is their whys? Why are you exactly doing this?
Thank you.
Why are you doing this? What is your real intention? Is it a good intention, or is it just intention that you just say like, why are you killing yourself?
Or financial intention.
Maybe it's just because you have you're financially great, but you want to have more, or you're not financially stable and you have to have more jobs. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want my family. There's a statement that I read on Instagram. If you're not from a rich family, be the reason why your family is rich. That is one of the statements that I read. And that is really something that kind of changed me, because I grew up in a very great, stable home. Don't get me wrong, but I know I can be better than that.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know I'm from a family. Thank God. The reason why I think I'm really grateful that my parents were not the richest is because they taught me something about hard work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once I have that hard work, and then I was brought in a Christian home, so now I have something that I can lean on, but then I also have that mentality of saying that you have to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I am grateful for that. That's why I want my family to be well. I did not travel much. Cool. My kids would travel more than I did when I was a kid.
Tell me about it. I love this. I love this energy.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now imagine my mentality was the reason why I want to do it is because I want to just ball. I just want to do my thing. I just want to do all that. bro, don't kill yourself. You don't have to do all that.
Yeah. Just to lean in, there's something I read on Twitter, very funny. So I think they were posting like maybe about like Elon Musk or something, like maybe like new or something about like the like who surpassed who in the richest people's list, whatever. And then someone made a comment and said like, oh, my parents. I don't know, like my parents, like where were my parents or something when? And do you know what somebody responded to that guy?
What?
Because like, better start hustling so that your children don't make the same.
Where was my mother?
But now listen. But now listen.
It's like so that your children don't make the same comment on this.
But now listen.
In years to come.
That is a very ignorant comment, though.
Yeah.
That is a very ignorant comment because that is a sign that you're not grateful about for the generation before you. Because now let's talk about it. Because this generation, it's easy. Do you know what they had to go through to get to this point where they are today?
Which generation?
The generation.
Like
I think easy. Don't say easy. Everybody has their own struggle. Every generation has its struggles. Yes.
Everybody has their own struggle.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own struggle. Depends. But now for you to say that where were my parents?
Yeah, that's
when Elon Musk was
that was a very wrong statement. That is very wrong. That's demeaning.
Now, yes, true. Everybody has their own struggle. Everybody has their own struggle. Hey, generation after generation, things go better, but things can get worse.
Yeah.
Facts. You know what I'm saying?
And the struggles are different.
And the struggles are different.
The struggles
but for
are different.
you to be able to say, you saying that, oh yeah, where was my family when that is just you not acknowledging the struggles that they had.
Yeah.
That is simply just you not acknowledging nothing else.
But interesting stuff. I mean, I also want to explore, like, you know, so for me, like, the goal really, like, for this episode is really trying to understand, first of all, like, what is the mindset, right, of this Generation Z, right? How do you guys, like, approach certain, you know, like, life matters? So, for example, let's say finances, right? Let's say relationships, right? So I kind of, like, want to touch on, you know, a few of those topics, right? And try to, like, explore.
Finances would be interesting.
Finances, right?
Yeah.
So let's start from there. So what is Gen Z's approach to Mandy, maybe you go first.
Yeah, you go first.
On this one.
I think, like, looking at or considering the fact that we have a lot more opportunities than generations before us, we are probably going to be a lot more reckless with finances because we know that there's always an opportunity to make money.
You think something is going to come? Oh, it's going to come again. No. Yeah, not you. I'm just saying the generation.
I think, sort of, but what I mean is that, like, people in my generation know that if you have so many side hustles, if your modeling, like, doesn't bring something, you know that your music production will bring you something. So you're not holding on to one thing only. So you don't have to be as careful as someone who just only has one income. And generations before us, they had to be a lot more, like, I think a lot more not careful, but what's the word? Like,
prudent.
No, just like you got it. You got what you have.
Exactly. You had one job or you had one stable income, and you had to be a lot more careful with what you spend.
And there's something I'm going there. Like,
and I feel like with us, because we have so many opportunities, we're probably more likely to be a lot more reckless with money because we know that I'm probably going to I'm always going to have an opportunity to make money.
Reckless is one thing, but there's one thing I want to drive on there. So, which you kind of, like, touched a little bit. Because you have, like, this multiple sources, right? Is that a reason why people think, or like maybe even the older generations think, like, millennials are not, how do you say? Like, they don't give a shit about their jobs when it comes to, like, not like you don't give a shit. Gen Z is gone. So, like, there's this concept.
Oh, I know this concept. But they'll be like, Gen Z will be like, out of office. Please don't message me.
So, which is this quit?
Beg you from HR. Avoid me. Something like that.
But that's one thing.
Let's touch on that a little bit. I want to know about.
I work in corporate, and I'm telling you, I'm very professional. I don't do any of that. I think it's very personal.
Very personal.
Yeah, it's very, even with finances, it's very personal because me, I am strict as I know how to have a good time because I feel like I work so hard and I always reward myself. And I'm telling you, I am so with my finances. I'm good.
Okay.
Because I have goals. I know what I want. I know what I want to get, and I know. So I feel like,
but do you think you have
more
the choice?
Gen Zs are like. I understand what you're saying. They want to leave. They want to enjoy the moment. But I feel like it's also very personal.
100.
It is personal. It's also the reason why they're reckless is because again they're thinking about today.
Yeah.
They're thinking about today's enjoyment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that
like living in the moment.
Live in the
That's the
moment.
word.
I think
Living in the
exactly.
moment.
They're living in the moment, but
because we have the privilege to live in the moment. Like people who were born in previous generations had to think about the future. If I act like this now, how's it going to be in the future?
I actually think
They
like
had
that.
I think
That's why I say you are senior Gen Z. You are not.
no, but
Don't you think like that? Or you live in the moment every day with your finances?
no, I can't.
You live in the moment.
No.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
this one says
but
you're a
that's
junior Gen Z,
like-
but with senior.
That's not how I mean it though. Obviously, you're not going to live in the moment every day, but I think because we just live in a lot in like more financial stable environment as a whole, like
I get you.
we have the sense of like I can allow myself to live in the moment at least once.
There are many opportunities for us.
Whereas previous I think, or at least that's how I see it. So I think previous generations weren't like as financial. They didn't live in a globally financial stable
I understand
environment.
you.
So they didn't have the privilege to be like, oh, let me just live in the moment for now.
Yeah, because some people have 9 to 5 and they have like they're earning a lot as a content creator or as something or something else. And I really understand you and you're right in your own way.
And they had to work. They had to work for their money. I'm not saying like content creation is not working.
Yeah, it's working.
It's a lot of work, 100%.
Yeah.
Someone who has to work for 9 hours or 8 hours
And now we have
to
the
make
remote thing. Like we're
Now
really
we have
having it
remote.
good. I don't want to go to the office. Work from home.
That's also
Exactly.
another
Everyone looking for a job.
defining.
There's also that
On
another defining
LinkedIn.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
When I just see on-site 100%, I'm like, hell no, this is not for me.
But what does my question is like, even though we all know our point, like I really wonder sometimes what the millennials see in all of that.
Yeah, like how dare them?
How do they see it? Like, how do they see it?
How
That's
do
my
you
question.
see it, sir?
Like
Excuse me, sir. How do you see it?
somebody
No.
does not say it, sir. That's crazy.
So again,
Like, how do you view us? Like, what's
like
your own?
how I view you guys?
Yeah.
How do you
Everything
view?
we do, how we live
Like-
our lives.
Like I don't know, man. Like I just feel like you guys are in a different, I don't know,
Universe.
like mind space. You know
are
what
you
I'm saying?
happy for us?
I thank God for your life.
Oh, you're like, who the hell do you think they are?
Yeah,
I feel like
I mean-
millennials are kind of jealous of Gen Z. Someone said this earlier, and I
Yeah.
feel like, oh, what do you guys think?
is that the truth? So do you think millennials are jealous of Gen Z?
Jealous is a strong word, though. But then, Mandy, what do you think?
I think jealous is like you can look at it that way, because I feel like a lot of things that we are able to do very easily, you guys had to work a lot harder to achieve.
Yeah.
And from looking at it from that point, that you can obviously probably feel a little sense of, oh, we had to go to school and be lawyers and be this in order to be successful, and these little kids don't even have to go to school, and they can be content creators and then blow up and
we're having ChatGPT, we're having everything to make our life easier.
100%.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, I think you could say maybe like they have reason to be jealous, but I wouldn't say they. I don't know. I don't.
Okay, so we're not jealous. Point blank. Period.
Are you?
No, I'm
Are
not.
you?
I'm not. So I don't know
But
about all the millennials.
do you think we have it
Of
easier
course,
than the?
yeah.
than you
I
guys?
mean,
And does that make you angry? Is this a therapy session? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
why are you coming at me though? Like,
No, we're just
I'm
asking. You're the only
asking.
millennial. You know better.
Yeah.
I'm really wondering, what was it like being in uni as a millennial,
Oh,
like
bro.
writing your
This guy-
thesis? Where did you get all the information? Your
Because there was no
assignment? Did you PowerPoint? How was everything? Like, we just have everything. Like,
you
Oh
do
my God.
hardcore research. That's the thing with this
Yeah, I
generation,
agree with
guys.
that.
Yeah.
Gen Zs, I don't want to say like they're lazy, but
We have it
sorry.
easier.
Okay.
But like these guys are like they're born like into like all of these technologies and all
How
of
about
this
the
stuff.
generation coming after us? If you're really
Bro,
dragging
I
us
don't
here?
know those ones.
Bro.
Like, yeah, what are they even called?
it Alpha?
Gen Alpha.
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah.
Yo, like those ones.
Be
I don't,
ready.
I don't even know what to say.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like this thing about like going like through the grind. You know what I'm saying? Like reading like hard copy books and entering the library. And opening and doing hardcore research and writing like research papers. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's better though.
100%. And that's
Sometimes
what
damn.
that's what I was trying to say.
Why
Like,
don't you
I
do
can
it?
understand.
I do.
I think
I'm not
I would understand you guys' aggression towards Gen Zs because you feel like you had to work a lot harder to get the things that we can get easily. So I think it's fair to at least wonder if millennials are jealous of us because it's like we're like, imagine a family with 2 kids and then one kid is born like 10. One kid, like the firstborn is born now.
Millennials, like Gen Z.
And then the last born always has it easier than the firstborn. I think in that regard. Sorry,
That's
did I trigger you?
Bro, I have some things I
Why
want
does
to
feel
let
like you have a Gen Alpha in your house?
But I want to touch on another one, right? What are some like values when it comes to like Gen Zs? There are things that Gen Zs, I think these days are, how do you say, more passionate about, right? So I don't know, things like, I don't know, climate change, some of like these topics, right? Where you find a lot of, I don't know, like millennials being a little bit like, you know, taking the backseat on that, right? Do you think like this, like, so first of all, like, are there certain values, right, that you think clash with other generations, right? So things where you're like, you guys care about them, but other generations are just like...
Well, I just want to say something on climate change. I don't feel like millennials don't care about them. Like we all said, now we have Twitter, we have everything to scream and shout.
Yeah.
Maybe they were talking, they just didn't have the platform.
So which was, again, this point about the platform?
Yeah, so I don't think that millennials don't care about climate change or something. Like, that's an example because you brought it up. Yeah. I feel like we have a platform. We have, every day there's a new thing. There was Threads, there's Twitter, there's Instagram. It's like, just say something and it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's
we have the opportunity to create a certain sense of solidarity,
like a movement,
exactly,
where everybody's like, oh, I go with this person,
exactly. And then based off of that, if you find enough people who support one movement and like support the ways in which you can try and push it, then you have the means to start you know, and do whatever you can do to like create like a certain sense of awareness for it.
True. Interesting. Number 3, mental health. Do you think do you think Gen Zs value their mental health more than other generations?
Yes.
Good. Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, because we live in a time where we talk about it.
Exactly.
I do think previous generations had just as much mental health issues as we do, but it wasn't a norm to talk about it back then.
And could it be connected also to this point you said, you know, you have like multiple options? Because I just feel like this Gen Z is like this generation, like you guys are just like this don't take shit generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just like soft life.
It's
not, like, sorry, like that's my thing though. Like, I feel like you just like soft life. You don't like stress. If something is stressing you too much, you quit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
like don't come and keep me here.
Well, I think
so, and like this whole thing about like mental, like if a job is stressing the Gen Z, like bro, like they're just gonna like buy HR.
But hey, you're talking to someone who almost committed suicide, my boy. Like I can tell you. Yep. Ooh. Don't see them now.
We're going to get to that. We're really going to get to that.
You're talking to someone who almost killed himself.
We're going to talk about. And I also think that it's easier to talk about something that you're going through if you've seen someone talk about it.
Yeah,
it's easier. Mostly when it's something with like your mental health and something. And I feel like mental health wasn't something that was discussed a lot as a millennial. I would say probably in Nigeria. I'm speaking. That's where I grew up. Like till I was like 17. So basically, when you're in a place or you're in a place where people are talking about things, that's why, for example, you see like this AA people that are like alcoholic. The reason they have those groups is so they can feel what's the word?
A sense of community.
Yes, because if somebody says I'm a drunkard, then you feel like it's okay for me to share my story. But then when you're in a place where you're scared of being judged, you're not okay. But then you've not really had somebody come out and say I'm not okay. These days, internet or no internet, we have friends calling us and saying, oh, I don't feel good. Life is hard. We have people crying out, not just writing. We are seeing it every day.
Yeah. We see people crying on social media.
Even for example, now, like there's this awareness on suicide or something. Now we're like, what could happen? People are more like curious. check on people, know if they're fine, something like that. Probably would be like, maybe millennials like, why could somebody kill themselves? And I feel like everybody had their own struggle that they were going through, maybe through their job, through relationships, through whatever. I feel like, but what I'm saying is that it's easier for us because somebody's talking about it. Now it's like a normal thing. It's not a stigma.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't feel good. Like, if Buki was my very good, I could call Buki and say, oh, it doesn't even have to be close friends, because sometimes you just meet people and you talk to them and you just feel like, okay, I can let it out.
All that thought. So I want to come back to your suicide topic, bro. Like, tell me about it.
I mean, it was 2022 where a lot of things happened. I was there in a relationship. Now, things happened as things get fucked up. So there, I was not really the best version of myself, you know what I'm saying? But I guess when when we were together, I was really in a dark hole because like I lost pretty much the most things. Pretty much everything that I was working for, really, like, imagine, like, everything I was working for before prior to that just vanished. It just was taken away, you know what I'm saying? And then but I was still seen as the really smiley person, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always like smiley, I'm always just happy. So I will keep that. So then it will start off with little things where I would just take a knife and just cut myself just once, you know what I'm saying? But then it got so much hard. Like, I had so much pain, like, mentally, that I would just cut myself more just to forget the mental pain.
Oh my God.
That I had, you know what I'm saying? And then have, like, just, before you know it, like, I have, like, a whole scars over here right there. And we went to Nigeria. That's where I saw my grandparents, like, my grandmother, specifically. She's 104 years old now. So, like,
wow.
So,
she's still alive.
Yeah, she's still well. So,
Yeah.
But instead of celebrating and just be happy, I'm not really, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm struggling, like, because I can't talk to nobody, you know what I'm saying? I can't come and talk to my parents about it. Not here, not in Nigeria. So whenever we're alone, whenever my parents are sleeping, what I do is, like, my mom and my dad, they have like a room, you know what I'm saying? So whenever they're out, I have an extra key. So I go there because they have all them pills there. So I will overdose myself. I will take pills, 2, 3, depends how my day will be. And then when it's night, I will take a knife, making that decision what I should do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will just try and cut myself and do all of that stuff, man.
And I'm curious, so, like, how did you get out? Like, what? So, because this topic is very, I mean, so mental health in general, I think is something we need to bring back.
Yeah, that's why I said we're going to talk about it because it's.
But I still wanted to, I still wanted to, like, explore, you know, his experience. Because Gen Zs, so, like, stats have it, Gen Zs are going through, like, a higher rate of depression than millennials. I believe so. I have to fact check that. I have to double check that, but I believe so. Because I was researching this about, like, loneliness. I'm, you know, quite working on this topic as well with what I'm doing. ClickUp, which is the next one I was going to mention, right? And I know, like, Gen Zs have like this struggle, right? And I'm curious to see, like, because how, like, coming out of this, right? Like, what was this like for, like,
what was the life for you? How did you come out of it?
What did you have to do? You know, this maybe could help someone out there, right?
I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'm still figuring things out.
Okay.
It is not that I'm now really saying that I'm not depressed anymore, because it is one thing being alone, but there's another thing feeling alone. And bro, feeling alone is very, very ugly, because that's the time where you will start seeing images, other things you will start to have thoughts that you don't want to have, bro. And that will be moments where we don't want to do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? But that's the moment where you figure out who your friends are. Because everybody can talk to you when you're really that hype and hey, you're hyping up, right? But there will be very few of saying that, hey, bro, I'm seeing through your shit, man. I see you. I see through your shit. You ain't going. You're not fine. You're not doing good.
Yeah.
You're not doing good. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you need those kind of people.
Y'all need that type of people who can really look at you in the eyes and be like, hey, bro, not
Cap.
doing good. Cap right there.
Yeah.
Because like people will tell, like I mostly like help people, you know what I'm saying? But like I don't have a lot of, like, I wouldn't say I don't have a lot of people, but there's really few people who will be willing enough to even take a bullet for me. And I'm a person who will take a bullet for anybody.
Yeah, I want to say something. Like this time you were feeling so lonely.
Right.
You had friends, right?
Right.
Yeah, because it's just like our dealing with
We
loneliness
have that topic, yeah,
We have a
dealing with
topic. Like
loneliness,
we
yeah.
have an episode where we talked about loneliness.
Right.
And I talked about how you could have all your friends.
But
You
still
could
be
hang
lonely.
out. You could do everything and you would still feel lonely.
And the research has it that Gen Zs actually also find it more difficult to make to make friends compared to like millennials. So they deal with loneliness. They have a much bigger loneliness problem actually. Mandy, why do you think that is? Like, do you like, I don't know, maybe from your experience or what you've seen, do you think Gen Zs, like, is it more difficult for you guys
To make friends.
to build real meaningful connections with people?
friendships.
Because I feel like one of the downsides of like this old digital world we're talking about is also that a lot of things are like very superficial.
Yeah. 100.
Right? So you come on TikTok, you come on all the things and it looks flashy, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think that
And like
contributes to
everyone is like
depression.
commenting, but there is no deep, meaningful connections.
Yeah.
You feel me?
It's like
I
a facade
agree.
or
Tell me
something.
about this. Like, how many do you have close friends? Like,
I do have
I'm happy
close
for you,
friends.
my dear.
Thank you. I'm happy for myself as well because I know it is a rare thing nowadays. But I do definitely agree that a lot of relationships nowadays are a lot more superficial because people are, like, especially people in our generation, they're a lot more concerned about how everything looks like to the
Outside.
outside
People are
world.
friends because you can dress.
Exactly. People are friends because you know that as a group will look good together.
Yes.
people
You'd
get
fit in
into
my
exactly,
picture. Like
exactly. Or people get into relationships because they know they look good. Or people get into relationships in order to be like, look, I have a relationship too because it's so cool to be in a relationship and go on vacation or whatever. So I do definitely think that it is difficult for us to make meaningful connections because we've forgotten, I think at least we've forgotten the whole reason behind even having friendships or even having relationships. Like now it's, okay, I need to have friends so that I don't look like a strange person or so that I don't look like a lonely person. Or I need to have a relationship so that I don't look like I'm not desirable.
like I'm cool.
Like,
or something.
exactly.
But what I've learned that being alone, right? Because you asked me like, how did I get alone?
Yes. Tell me about it.
One thing you need to know is that you need to know who you are when you're alone. The reason why they feel alone is because they not know that version. Like everybody can say, this is divine right here. This is divine. But who's divine when he's alone?
I think divine is divine when he's alone. I think that's when
yeah, that's the question. Who is divine when he has nobody that he can count on? Who is that person? And majority of Gen Z, they have not really figured that out. Which is why they say I'm alone. You're not alone. You just don't know yourself. You don't really just know who you are when you are alone. But I think it's really beautiful when you find out that you're alone. You will figure out that you love yourself, bro. Like I'm literally like, not just to love myself, just to be alone.
And I'm so big on that.
And I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
hey, facts is facts. First, like self-love is the best
Self-love,
love because,
so 100.
hey, bro, love yourself. And then also another thing is that that was actually the time I found God again.
Yeah.
That was the time. It was like end of 2023 actually, where I was like just doing my thing. I said I was alone for so long. I don't believe God. But that was the moment when I was finding God again.
I do think you find out who you actually are when you're forced to be alone.
Yes.
Because when you're surrounded by a lot of people or friendships or whatever sort of relationships, you don't get to like check in with yourself and be like
who am I?
who am I exactly?
Yeah.
Am I doing this because I want to do it, or am I doing this because all of my friends are doing it? Like, so when you're alone, you get to then or you have to then ask yourself and be like, okay, so what do I want to do?
Or who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Like,
because you can be with if you're with a clubber.
Yeah.
That's a statement.
you're a party.
Yeah, like that's what about. I don't want to go into scripture, but Bible says,
Preach, bro.
right? Or show me your friends, I'll show you who you are. I'll tell you who you are. So when I was with the club guys, I was a clubber.
Yeah.
When I was a church guy, I love God. When I was just, if I'm just with with friends who just talked about, being big, I was having the mentality of being big.
Yeah, you were just following.
So now you have this when you're a clubber. This is when you're talking with friends with
So
your big.
many
This is when you're with the model, and this is when you are with.
Who are you?
Yeah. Well, for me, that's why I always say, spend time with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I literally could be with a group of people. Like, I could go somewhere and I wouldn't mingle. We could say, I don't know what it caused me or whatever. I just believe in spending your own time. I travel alone. I would literally book a ticket by myself. And for traveling, I wouldn't believe that's when you get to experience it. You're by yourself. You're meeting people. You're having conversations because you're alone.
Yeah.
Spend time with yourself. Stay in your room. Some people can even be by themselves for like 2 hours. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Read your Bible. Do something. Think. Just sit down and ask yourself questions. Why am I here? And also regarding friendship, I would say that I have good friends, solid, concrete, and it's so funny because those friends, they're all millennials. Yes, like I really have had this thing with older friends. I've always had. Oh, please, but
now my only question is like, how was like the millennials thinking about that, and where would we say that the GenZs have actually something in common with the millennials on that one?
That's a good question.
Yeah, so I don't know, like if I'm like a mouthpiece for millennials.
Because we're very quick to find things that separate us, but are there things that actually bring us together?
I think there are a lot of things that definitely.
Can I say something quickly?
Go for
like
it.
the movement you said in Nigeria in 2020.
Yeah.
You said Gen Z, but you should remember that the millennials,
of course,
they started
they
that
were
movement.
like at the forefront.
Yes. So I believe that there's a lot of things. We are louder, but they do things.
Yeah.
They're like us. Even with influencers, there are lots of millennials. It's not just young people. Like we are like loud, but they also do things. They make
and they were the blueprints.
Yes, they are.
That's what.
Yeah, we have to say that.
Let's not forget that.
Thank you, Divine. Thank you.
I mean, like, so I mean, I also agree. So there are definitely, I feel like the struggles that we all have, I feel like they are the same, right? Everyone is struggling to want to like make a life, make a living. Like, it's the same, you know what I'm saying? It's just the experiences that shaped both generations that are different, right? And which is what we started from, right? So some of the defining events, cultural norms, right? Like in where did these two generations grow up, right? I think this is where like the difference is, and this is where like the way that you see millennials thinking is different from the Gen Z, for example, right? But at the end of the day, like the basic struggles we have, they are the same.
Do you think it's possible for a Gen Z to also function or think like a millennial, or for a millennial to think and function like a Gen Z?
So these are some Gen Z.
So
Gen
what
Z,
is the whole point of like this
thinking.
labeling?
It is what it is. Gen Z and millennials, just what it is.
Exactly.
And we came into the world at different times. We had different opportunities. Like, look at us, TikTok generation.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. Like in 10 years, when you're talking about Gen Alpha, we're like, oh my god, we are gonna be in a mess because I don't know what you're gonna say about us.
Because 10 years from now, we're gonna be in the same time position as the millennials. Like, like there was one TikTok song that was like, yeah, what year were you born? 2000. And there's more? Bro, whole life. Imagine someone say like, "Where were you born?" 2000, like 2000 and what? Four? Dang,
bro. Wow. I mean, like, kind of like beginning to wrap it up, right? So on one side, I would like to see, like, if you had one thing to tell to, like, not just millennials right now, but other generations, right, that could help them and help us understand you guys better, what would be your message? Like, what are you saying? To say, hey, we're not that weird a generation. Like,
we're cool.
This is,
cool kids.
Like, what is your message? Like, what would you say if you were to talk on behalf of the GenZs? Okay, that's deep.
That's deep because it's personal. Everybody has like one way and one. Yes.
Because it depends.
Just look at Divine's view and my view and how it's totally different. So it's really hard to say that millions of millennials.
But we can say one thing that is in common.
Yeah.
Surviving.
Yeah, we are all trying to survive.
Sure.
We're surviving.
If I had one thing to say to millennials, I would just say, we as Gen Zs are just a generation making like use of the opportunities that we have.
Yeah.
We're not lazy. We're not unreliable. We just have opportunities and
we're using
them. We're taking advantage of what we have.
Right.
And you guys have the same opportunities, so you can either use them with us,
It's never too
or
late.
you can stay in your lane and go and be loyal
Wow.
or
You see,
I'm
whatever.
curious. The question.
It's all actually.
She be shady.
We
then,
all-
like,
I'm not.
No,
she's
it's like- it's
not.
like
No, she's
silent.
not. No,
I'm
she is
not.
not. She
She's
is
like,
not.
Like she's
You know what I'm
saying, she's like,
Because
even like take it or leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
get
she
it
was
also
saying.
a millennial.
Take it or leave it.
The opportunity is
We
also
have-
there for
we
you.
all
It's
have
never
the
too
opportunities.
late.
No one's
Nah,
saying
that's
only
true.
a Gen Z
Yeah,
can be a
Yeah, stop
content
saying we
creator.
did this
I
and
feel
that.
you. I feel you. I
And
feel you
Bookie,
on
if you
that.
have, what would you say to us? The question
So
turned around.
first of all, I want to hear like the GenZs. Then I
He
answer.
said surviving.
So you give your answer already.
Yeah.
So which is
I just say like we are the generation who survived many tribulations
Okay.
in the modern era. So
okay.
we
So
are-
you want us to like look at you with that like
With
through that
empathy,
lens,
yeah.
no? Like and
Yeah.
to understand.
not that we're also going through stuff. Just
Yeah.
like
Got it.
yeah.
Got it.
We
You guys
also
have it now.
survive.
So and you do you have
I
any?
don't know. Like I said, it's really it's so deep, and like I cannot say that. Okay, this is how I think she see Gen Z, because I feel like it's very different. The way
Right.
you could see Divine, you probably would not see me like that, and I wouldn't want to say, okay, this is a watchword. But like he said, we're all surviving, and yes, it's not too late for you to use the opportunities. Even some millennials are using it now. People are doing big things at 40, at 45, at 30. Bookie, you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Like you
Boss.
have your own startup, and this is the
Thank you.
digitalization we're all talking
trying.
about. So it's about just using the opportunities you got. Stop pointing fingers like, okay, we're not lazy. We're just using the research. It's just like,
Exactly.
oh, before there was X-rays or whatever to cure some sicknesses, and like, for example, and now there's a better technology. You would say, let's use the old one, or the doctors are lazy. No, the idea is to make life better and easier.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
what it is.
So they should just leave you guys the hell alone.
Yeah, and you, what do you have to say to us? I'm curious.
Yo,
in other words, mind your business.
Or if you can't beat them, join them.
you see,
Thank
these are the real, you see
you.
the
You know
real
how
Gen Z in
it's
them is
going.
coming out now. Is at the end they are bringing out their true colors.
What do you
Because
have
you can
to
see them
say? We want to
very,
hear.
very-
We want to hear what you have to say.
very sassy generation. Okay, no. Just kidding. I mean, to Gen Z's, like I feel like, yeah, like do you? That's it. Like do you, man?
you.
Like no hate, no like
No shade.
it's not personal.
I
No
feel like you're
shade.
hating on me, Jerry.
You know, so like just do you, man. Like, and I feel like millennials as well, like, you know, just like what you're saying, like, you know, trying to understand like this generation, right? I try to like I deal with that a lot as well, right? In dealing with people and everything, and like just trying to know, like, bro, like even like with you and you are like on TikTok like 12 hours a day, like, bro. I don't have the strength anymore, right? You know what I'm saying?
My thing, so don't
You know,
say.
so I'm just an example. You know what I'm saying? Like this generation is very digital. They live
I
in that
know.
world. You know what I'm saying? And like as a millennial, as an older generation, you're probably like, what is it with you people say with this? Yo,
That's why I
like
think there's
you know, so
jealousy.
it's just it's about understanding, right? Like
Yeah.
Right,
this generation,
right.
these are like some of the things that have shaped them, and like just try and like, you know, yeah, like go with the, you know, with that flow and like come to their level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is one like mistake, like a lot of, especially like if you're working with Gen Zs, if you're like, you need to like speak Gen Z, you know?
To understand Gen Z.
Yeah, you need to speak. There's Gen Z, there's like Gen Z is there's called speaking Gen Z, you know what I'm saying?
Speaking
Like the
Gen
way
Z.
you talk to
Yeah.
that generation
As if it's a language.
is different.
What do we speak?
You
I don't know.
You speak
Bruh.
Gen Z, that's the point, you know what I'm saying?
We speak. What's that? We're
Gen
clueless.
Z. Anywho, right? So I have like a rapid fire question I was gonna do. Before we go, right? Before we wrap it up, right? So it's a this or that question, yeah?
Okay.
And you just give me quick one. What's your answer?
All right.
Texting or calling?
Calling.
Texting.
No.
So this one.
It has to be really important. Why you like
Why are
no?
you stressing me?
Yes.
You see what we're talking about?
Because I'm
See
always
the
busy. I
differences?
don't have time to be on the phone. Like Bookie now, we have a chat and Bookie writes like 200
Episode.
paragraphs. I'm like, I know way I'm reading this. I got things to do. Like, go straight to the point.
You start
I would
producing,
rather
you see the problem.
call in. If we're not close and you just call me, I know something is wrong with you. Just, can I call you? Are you free? Then we can have a conversation. Yes, but don't just hit me up. You can text me maybe, but then not like back to back. Oh, please.
That's super weird, right? I know, like, getting calls from people that, like, they just call you, like, without...
That is so
Is
sad.
it a Gen Z thing? Like, you guys know...
No, for me, it depends. It depends.
Not really a Gen Z thing, but, like, how you guys deal with that, you know? So, I think even for us millennials, for me, it's, like, a bit weird if someone would just call me, like, on WhatsApp, like, bro, like...
Did you buy my phone?
Someone,
And you know the one that annoys me. Maybe someone gives somebody your number and they're like on WhatsApp. They just say hi. You don't even say hi. Who is this next thing? When I see a number calling me on WhatsApp, I was like, you must be
How
bored.
about video calls? How about direct?
I just reply like, you must be bored, and I drop my phone. When you're done, you're gonna write and I'm gonna say, you must be bored.
Okay, back to rapid fire. So, just quick answers, right? Favorite social media platform?
TikTok.
Instagram.
Interesting. Okay, streaming or live TV?
What is live TV?
Bro, the one that shows on your TV, on your television.
Streaming. I mean, I guess it's very
Streaming.
easy.
What are you saying?
You guys don't watch ZDF or...
Do you watch that
What is-
Spot.
to
Yo,
watch it.
okay, emojis or words?
Stickers.
Stickers.
Words.
This Gen Z people, work from home or office?
Work from home.
Work from home.
Work from hybrid.
No,
Work
wow.
from home.
Okay, hybrid. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Concert or playlist?
Depends.
Playlist.
Depends.
You don't hear the person at
Okay.
concerts. Like, you pay so much money just to see a little mini version of Beyonce.
I get
like
you.
15
I get you.
meters away from
Okay,
you.
cool.
Sorry.
Fitness app or gym membership?
Gym membership.
Gym
Okay.
membership.
Both.
But you use fitness app. Interesting. Okay, let's do this as the last one. Selfie or group photo?
Group photo.
Selfie.
Okay. Not a selfie, but just only me. Yes. But
Why?
the back camera is better.
Bro.
Yes.
Facts,
Yeah, it's
facts.
better.
Cool. Thank you very, very much for the very
Alright.
engaging session.
Hey.
It was really nice, like talking to you guys. I think some of the parts went quite deep, right? So I hope
yeah.
that there's still something, for everyone there, right? But thank you guys for staying with us. Like, comment, subscribe, or rate the like button, like one of my favorite YouTubers always say. We're gonna be back same time, same channel next week, right? With another juicy topic. Until then, we see you later. Like I like to say, drink water, no?
And
Mind
watch
your
Onlyfacts.
business.
Stay safe and watch Onlyfacts, right? Mind your business, cool. And thank you to Divine and Mandy. It
And
was
don't
awesome
forget, if you can
for you
beat
guys to join
them,
us.
Join them.
Join
I just want to say one thing. You said we should drink water, but like Jesus turned water into wine.
Yo, okay, we're not going.
Why? We're not
whatever
doing that.
works for
We're not
you.
doing that.
We're wrapping it up here, guys.
Bye.
Bye.